buddy sent me a text. He said Carson Beck and Ewers in the biggest games of their lives. What? Carson Beck had 3 interceptions. He's not a first-round NFL quarterback.
I don't believe so either. It's size. It's projection at this point. Don't you believe? Yeah. I mean, the narrative could be, oh, he's playing against one of the best secondaries in all college football, or, you know. You don't believe so? Who's better, Cam Ward or Carson Beck?
It's hard because of the conference that Carson Beck plays in. But right now, what I see with my eyes and on TV, Cam Ward's better.
He is. And if you're a GM, NFL GM, given the choice right now, who would you take?
Out of those two?
Yeah.
I'd take Cam Ward.
Right. You hemmed and hawed over it. If you're an NFL GM, no questions asked, Cam Ward.
Yeah. Someone said, I don't remember, like Carson Beck, I mean, he may be like a Drew Lock, right? Like good in college, but like backup quarterback at best in the NFL.
Agreed. And especially, I always caution, candidly, like you look at the offensive lines of these top 5 teams, they're just nails. You know, they're going to the NFL draft too. A lot of them are getting drafted high, top, first round, second round type thing. So you take that, right? And this is where I think some of these quarterbacks, like I wouldn't call it Jaden Daniels, but like the beneficiaries of those, right? You got to be skeptical a little bit because they are getting more time than others, right? Yeah. They've got a good offensive coordinator, great wideouts, at Georgia. So I like Cam. Cam's got the same narrative around as Jaden Daniels, I feel like the guy he started at, what is that little school in Texas?
Cam Ward went somewhere before Washington State?
Before Washington State. And then the OC actually came to Washington State. So started at, I want to call it, it's not Sacred Heart, but it's something around that. Small school in Texas. Set records, came to Washington State, did phenomenally well. And then I don't blame him for going to Miami. Talk about a bigger, sure it's the ACC, but still it's a massive stage and shift from where he would be playing on the CW channel or whatever we're on.
He saw the Jaden Daniels footprint start in the Pac-12.
Exactly. There you go.
And then once you get on the scene, you show your talent, you move to a big program, and you elevate yourself into a top 5 pick.
Absolutely. The projection is what? They got Shadai Sanders as number 1, the top quarterback. And then
now Mel Kiper.
Ooh, Mel's not a fan. And then you run into Cam Ward, second best quarterback.
Yeah.
Arguably. Maybe the first.
Yeah. And then Jalen Milroe from Alabama, Carson Beck, and Ewers. They're all kind of in that second tier. We'll see what happens the rest of the season.
Did we watch, my question to you, 2 of the top? Did Bama play Tennessee?
Yeah.
And
hold on. Let's get into it.
Go.
Welcome to Big Ben and K-Win on NoFilter.net and YouTube. Make sure you drop your comments below and follow us anywhere you have social media at Big Ben K-Win _ at Big Ben K-Win _ If you're an audio podcast person, download, listen, subscribe, 5 stars anywhere you get your audio podcast. I'm K-Win. He's Big Ben, and we're all things football today.
Yeah, we're sandwiched, right? We already saw the completion of the college football week, which started on, I think they're starting on Tuesdays now with the MAC action. And then all the way through Saturday, some big games, some great games, Texas, Georgia, Bama, Tennessee. And now we go into the early kickoff between the Patriots and Jags, full day of football, 2 Monday night football games this week to look forward to. Yeah, a lot going on. And we are...
It's Sunday, folks, so... Usually broadcast Thursday so we can preview college. Sunday, college already happened. So now we're bickering a little bit today.
We are on what? Who's the top 5 teams in the country? What does that look like? Oregon.
Heisman race.
If you're Dan Lanning, you couldn't ask for a better scheduled game. A Friday night game where you go 35-0, just kill Purdue in West Lafayette. And then you get to sit back and watch at least someone lose, and you're gaining ground, right? That's perfect for Mr. Lanning and the Ducks, who probably will be number 1 after this weekend.
They will be number 1.
How much does Texas drop, though?
I think Texas goes to 6.
Okay.
So I think it's going to go Oregon 1. I personally would go Georgia 2. I'd go Penn State 3, Ohio State 4. And then I think you got to move Miami up to 5
Yep.
and then put Texas in at 6.
Moves Tennessee in a little bit,
Move
up to.
Tennessee, Clemson comes up a spot. Iowa State barely won. They come up a spot. But here's my thing, Big Ben. I think Georgia is the best team in the country. I think they're the number 1 team in the country. They won't get ranked number 1, but I think they're the best team. They beat the number 1 team in Texas.
Yep.
They beat Clemson, who's 10.
Yep.
Oregon beat Ohio State, was 2 at the time, and Boise State, who's at 15. But the SEC is stronger than the Big Ten. We talk about those 2 conferences, but the SEC is much better in the Big Ten. I think you got to reward the SEC.
I mean, Vandy, candidly, if you're the college football playoff committee, you look at the SEC, you're like, well, the worst team beat nearly the best team. That's how good the conference is, right?
Vandy's 5-2.
I mean, yeah, an afterthought, right? Like the top to bottom, the SEC is nails. And then you see a lot of teams that we thought might be up there in the Big Ten, Washington being one of them, struggling a bit.
Yeah.
And just the transition. Oregon's, as much as I don't like Oregon, it's more of I don't like their fans. Oregon, right now, to be in the driver's seat, Dan Lanning, I bet got a little, maybe a 10-second call from Phil Knight that just said, hey, nice job to date, right? Keep it up. Keep it up. Because that, you struggle. I talked about it with a buddy. You struggle in transitions, obviously, anytime in life, no matter what. But if you're going from the Pac-12, which was decimated, to the Big Ten, new stadiums, new players, the Huskies that were replacing 21 of 22 starters, like it's just the difference. And you don't expect, I didn't expect, but the one constant between, say, those 2 programs, Dan Lanning's still around. DeBoer's in Alabama, right? So having Lanning there for Oregon has paid off in spades.
But what will be interesting is the way this shapes up. Earlier in the pod, like 2 weeks ago, I said Big Ten will get 4 teams, SEC will get 4, Big 12's winner, ACC winner, 2 random teams.
Sure.
I think the SEC is going to get 5 now. And like as of today, it's got to be Georgia, Texas, A&M, LSU, and Tennessee. Like as of today, Bama's not getting in, Ole Miss isn't getting in, and Missouri's not getting in. And
those were top teams.
Those top 6, 7 teams, I think, are better than the top 3 teams in the Big Ten. Penn State's played no one. Oh, I think it's going to be interesting.
It could, as you say this, it could very well be 6. I'm serious. Listen, if you want eyes on these games, you put SEC schools, and that's the point, right? They didn't do this just for parody purposes. They did it to make more money. Yeah. And you watch these SEC games that even Texas, Georgia, like it was still interesting down to the to 000, but like you want those games. You don't want Virginia, who's ever on the ancillary or some other Big Ten team making it and then just get trounced by an SEC school. Yeah. Like you want the SEC. I can see 6. As you name the teams that aren't in it right now, in your mind, Alabama, Missouri, Ole Miss, like those were top 10 teams going into the season.
Yeah. And if Vandy catches a heater, you never know. I think there's going to be a 3-loss team from the SEC in the college football playoff.
Provided that they're all in conference.
Yes.
Provided that they're all in conference. You can't have yes, I agree with you there.
And we can't forget about Indiana in the Big Ten. They're 6-0.
The Big Ten, to me, I mean, I can look at it both ways, right? You can look at a team like UW. You thought it would be okay. They'd recoup with athletes, and they just haven't delivered, right? But Indiana, I don't know.
We got to see how it plays out, right?
Yeah.
Ohio State plays Penn State in 2 weeks. They're going to be a loser there. Someone's got to face Oregon probably in the Big Ten championship game. Yeah. So who's going to sneak in there?
Yeah, it's if anything, and you're the Big Ten, you're hoping to get that Big Ten title game and have it be close against whoever, and then the default, because Clemson's a bounce back, Miami's a good team. Like, so you got to look at the other schools around it to justify it, right? I think the Big 12 is, I mean, Iowa State, like they're undefeated, but
K-State. You got BYU. BYU's like
yeah, but
13.
you do the sniff test against all three of those, and you say, are they better than Ole Miss? Probably not. Probably not. So
They might not be
SEC,
better than Boise State.
true, very true, very true. In fact, you know what they should just pause. They should say, here's the SEC teams that are making it in. Here's 8 other teams we're gonna let fight it out for the other 4 spots that they get.
Kind of like baseball, you secure your playoff spot early. There's a little like Y or X by your name in the standings.
Yeah, exactly. And then everyone else, the wild card round, everyone else fight it out to see who can go play the SEC. It looks like that.
Yeah.
At least to the, what are we, week 8 now in the college football season?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, candidly, as me, like, me as a college football, I'm not even close to a purist, but I want to watch good teams, good games. Give me Ole Miss, Georgia 300 times before I have to watch K-State, BYU. Like, serious. That's just the reality, right?
Yeah.
So
big boy football in the SEC.
It is. It is. All right. So let me get your take on Heisman. We talked about it briefly. Travis Hunter's the enigma, right? He's the wild card, I think, in all this.
Yeah.
Sharday Sanders. They haven't started kind of the polling, I don't believe. I don't think we get there until like week 9.
Yeah.
In terms of front runners, votes being cast and forecasting. But what Cam Ward's done for Miami, I think you take Cam Ward off of Miami, they're a 500 team at best.
Yep.
So you look at that. Ashton, Jeffrey. Am I thinking of Alshon Jeffrey?
Yeah, I think you.
Boise State running back.
Ashton Gentry.
Give me your top 3. Let's start there.
So Travis Hunter got hurt last week, and then this past week against Arizona, I think he had to pop his shoulder back in. He only had 2 receptions for 17 yards. Still on pace for maybe close to like 900 yards receiving. Recency bias. I think Ashton Gentry and Cam Ward are 1 and 2 right now. I think you're going to invite Travis Hunter because you have to quantify his total impact on the game and what he's doing on the defensive end. So right now, I think those have to be your top 3 with Dylan Gabriel on standby and Eugene looking for a way in. They always select the quarterback or running back from the best team there.
Dylan Gabriel might be older than the presenter, whoever gives out the award. I think we talked about this before coming on too, is that Cam Ward has followed the same kind of script that Jaden Daniels had. You go get beat for your better athletes around you. All of a sudden you look a lot better too. And Cam Ward's number 1 in my book. And Mr. Jeffrey, I mean, after watching him run, all right, we're going to stop the run against the Cougs. And then he barrels for a 75-yarder in the second play. Like, the guy's just insane, insanely good. And that would fit the mold, right? A couple quarterbacks, a running back, maybe your all-purpose guy.
Yeah.
Are they doing 3 or 4?
Last year they did 3. I think it's going to be 3. But Gentry to win it, he's got to put up like ridiculous numbers, right? So it's like, I don't care who the competition is. Like, he's got 34 touchdowns this year, right? They're like, well, I mean,
they're playing San Jose State at home, and it's the game's cooked 42-7. He's still getting the ball.
Yeah, they got 11 in the box, and he's still running for 200.
All right, Heisman's. We'll see. Shake out. You want to go to the NFL?
Let's go. Week 7, Super Bowl rematch.
I'm playing you in fantasy this week, by the way. I got no hope and no prayer. There's no hope or prayer in my game right
Anything can happen. It's all about matchups and what your star players do or don't do.
Give me your take on the Jags have now been back-to-back in London.
Yeah.
Well, do you think – would you like to see an international team?
I would love to see an international team.
You would?
Yeah.
Just like a London team due to the fact that they're going to play games early on a Sunday?
Expanding the game. Give me more TV. Give me more games. Yeah, international. It's an international game.
You remember when they had the European Football League, the Barcelona Dragons, and that
Vaguely.
that used to they kind of primered that up as the minor leagues of football.
Yeah. I thought that was the XFL.
No, look it up. European Football League. There's the Barcelona. I liked the Barcelona Dragons for like 2 weeks when they were playing. That's about it because they were playing early games. Who's real and who's fake in the NFL?
Steelers are fake.
Oh gosh.
So we get 2 debuts today, right? Jets
Yeah.
play the Steelers. We get Devontae Adams' debut with the Jets. And allegedly, if you listen to the media, Russ is
George
going to
Pickens.
start for the Steelers there. I'm excited to see how both do on a new team.
Who do you ever think about the ripple effect of those moves? Like,
Yeah, the Raiders are officially rebuilding.
Well, exactly. That's the ripple effect there. But towards the Jets, what does Garrett Wilson say when he walks in the wide receiver room? When he knows he's not one, he's 1B now.
I think he says all the right things, but deep down, he's grumbling a little bit, right? Like he wants his name to be up there with Justin Jefferson, like Jamar Chase. And I don't think he's going to get 100+ receptions, get all those touchdowns, get all those yards. He's got to split it because Rodgers has chemistry. He's got a rhythm with one guy. He's still trying to work out his rhythm with the other guy. So it'll be interesting to see how involved Wilson is and what happens down the road. Like, will Wilson say, like, I want to be traded? I want to be the guy?
So you're saying like Devontae Adams is Jamar Chase and Garrett Wilson's now T. Higgins?
Yes.
Yes, I agree with you. And I think about that, right? Is it a tell now? Is Rodgers going to go to Devontae more? Like, where does that go? It seems like Rodgers taking over that team. Like he's going to.
You talk about LeBron being like the coach. Like Rodgers is the coach, the GM, and the owner.
Exactly. Give me 2 years. Let this be the Rodgers era, right? Let me do what I want to do for 2 years. And if I don't get it, I'll ride off in the sunset.
But it's dangerous, right? Because Garrett Wilson is the future of the team. Devontae Adams is 31. Rodgers is, I think he's 40.
Yep.
So they just signed Hassan Reddick. Breaking news. Jets just signed Hassan Reddick. Yeah.
Okay. Is that a positive ripple effect?
I mean, if they lose today, I don't know where they go. What are they, 2-4? They can't go to 2-5. This is a must-win game.
It is. But the ripple effect of Devontae signing, does Hassan then sign because of that? That might have been the case, right? I look at that.
My sources tell me Hassan Reddick probably wants to be traded. He doesn't want to be there.
Why?
Because he wants to play for a winner. He wants to get to a Super Bowl.
That division's...
Hear me out.
Okay,
Star player in the North was the front runner for Defensive Player of the Year, Aiden Hutchinson. Gone.
Oof.
What if the Lions got Hassan Reddick traded for him? What if he's trying to get on the field and get healthy so he can get to a team? Because the Jets, I'm sorry, if they get to playoffs, they're one and done. Just like any team from the Big 12 in the college football playoff. They're one and done if they make it.
I want to go back to your question about the Lions. You got to go all in.
Yes.
Like this is clicking. They signed Montgomery recently. You have to go. Because right now the NFC is looking like this. A rematch of the NFC's championship game.
Yeah.
Or
it could look like the game that's being played today. It could be Minnesota against Detroit to go to the Super Bowl.
More likely you're going to see the Niners, I think. I mean, depending on how CMC comes back and all the things end up putting together. But I think the Lions, you got to go all in. And Hassan Reddick might be the formula. Now, the other thing, too, is Garrett Wilson, they're talking about, he's coming up for a big extension, right? How long are we going to keep Devontae around? Is Lazard good enough, too?
Yeah.
Like, he could be gone, too, pretty quickly. Yeah. They go to 2-5. Garrett Wilson very well could be gone the next week.
Yeah. Well, Mike Williams definitely should be gone, right? Because, he just moved that further down in the wide receiver room.
Oh, my gosh, Mike Williams. You know my beef with Mike Williams, don't you?
Yeah.
I think I had to apologize to Mike Williams on this podcast once.
You did, because he put up numbers for the Chargers.
And he put up numbers in 2 games out of the year. It was always when I gave him flack. So maybe Mike Williams stinks, and watch, he'll put up 100 yards and 2 touchdowns today.
Yeah, he'll be wide receiver one.
Let's talk about the Seahawks.
Okay.
Who
How
are
you
you?
feeling?
Who are you? Who are you? Thank gosh we started out 3-0. We beat the teams we did. Because imagine if we lost a couple, two of those. We're a 1-6 team, 1-5 team.
Yeah.
Ryan Grubb's still figuring it out. He's overthinking right now. He's overthinking what he schemes, and they're passing far too much. They got some injuries. I don't know who the Hawks are. I don't
They're
think I know.
passing like they're a college football team. Like
Yeah,
run the ball. You have Kenneth Walker and you have
Charbonnet.
Charbonnet.
I haven't figured out a single team in the NFC West.
No.
I haven't. Like, who are they? The MVP of that division might be San Francisco's kicker if he didn't get hurt. Like, what is going on in this division? You
I don't
just don't
know.
know. The Rams are still just Aaron Donald's out, so they're just done.
Puka's out. I don't know if
Luka's
Cooper's
out.
going to play
Cooper's
today.
not playing. He's done. I mean, I feel like everyone's injured in the West. Something's happened. It's a little injury bug. Caught the West Coast.
I got another trade for you. Big names, big trades.
Okay, go.
The likelihood that it happens, probably pretty slim. But there's a running back for the Saints,
Ooh,
Alvin Kamara. Saints are 2-5. Started out 2-0. Bad right now. They've got Spencer Rattler at QB1. They say Alvin Kamara maybe could go to the Cowboys, which would be a great move for the Cowboys. But I would love to see him go to Arizona.
I would love that as well. Yes.
Like,
It would be a good fit. James
they
Conner's a go ahead.
Oh, James Conner is getting old.
Mhm.
Their younger running back, Trey Benson, you could put him in the trade. Like, the Niners are down. Like,
Opportunity.
they're vulnerable. The
They are.
Seahawks are probably a 500 team,
Yep.
and the Rams are out of it. So the Cardinals should go for the wild card.
It's like the old adage, you don't have to be faster than bear, then you just got to be faster than those around you, right? Like
Yeah.
that's the case here with the Cardinals in the NFC West. I like that. I mean, James Conner is an up and down, north and south type guy. Kamara is unique. Dump offs. You can run some sprint options.
Yeah.
Like that gives you a lot of opportunity. I like that.
Maybe
Kamara,
Kyler in the backfield, and you got Trey McBride, you got Harrison.
that'd be a good trio or quartet, I guess.
Yeah.
I should say. I'm still not clear on like perennial Super Bowl matchup. The Chiefs are odd to me. Like they're not as good as I think anyone believes they actually are. They just know how to win dirty games, right? Not dirty, but just muck it up enough or get enough out of Patrick Mahomes to win games.
I start looking at one stat that you brought to my attention, and that is like the points differential.
Uh-huh.
Like the Chiefs is really low. Like, yeah, they're 5-0, or I think they're 5-0. They could easily be a 500 team. I think they're going to regress back to the mean.
Yeah.
Like Juju Smith-Schuster is their number one target now. Pacheco's out. Mahomes is doing it, but to go back to your question, Lions versus Texans.
There you go.
That's
a game. That's a game in terms of Middle America. That's going to draw the most eyes. Like that's smack in the middle. Houston is 5-1 in a horrible division. The Chiefs are 5-0 in an absolutely atrocious division.
Actually, how do the Broncos have 4 wins?
No idea. With Bo Nix.
Yeah.
Like
it's wild.
That defense is good.
Yeah.
So you can scheme a defense really, really well and just keep your team. It's like they're playing college ball almost. But then the North, Browns are dog. Bills are best of.
How long do you hold on to Deshaun Watson as your starting quarterback?
God, you gave him so much money.
Yeah.
Gosh, that Cleveland just can't get it right.
No.
Like, I don't know.
They get rid of Baker. Look what Baker's doing.
Yes. All right. Your point differential this year in your losses is -46. That means if you lost 5 times, your average loss is by a touchdown or more. So you weren't in many games. So who do you have behind them though? Like if you got
Jameis and DTR.
Is DTR still sitting there?
He's elevated to number 2 today. But if you're going to lose, you might as well lose with
An experiment. Just
yeah,
we're playing around here.
exactly.
I don't know. I don't know what you do.
Because you can't get rid of that contract, I don't think, for another couple of years.
No, you can't. You can't skirt that contract. The Bengals are 2-4, probably the best 2-4 team in the NFL.
My other trade, I want T. Higgins to go to the Commanders. I'm making all the trades today.
Scary and T.
Yeah, they
like
need a number
that.
2.
Terry and T. T and Terry. I like that. Jaden Daniels has got it right this year from a quarterback position, being a rookie. Caleb. And then you look at the North, every team is over 500 in the NFC. And the Bengals or the Buccaneers and Falcons. The AFC is bad.
Bad. Go back to the NFC North. The Lions' time is now because I feel like Green Bay's coming with Jordan Love, with all those receivers. Josh Jacobs is a little older, but they got that rookie.
Dylan's
Daniel.
coming back.
Yeah, I think the Packers are going to run that division in the next couple of years.
Yes, I agree with you. And I think everyone, Dan Campbell and around I don't know if the Fords still own that team, but they got to see that too. Like, hey, we sniffed it. The window is open. We got to go through it today, tomorrow, every day until, Goff's not old, right? They're signing pieces or maintaining pieces, but
Goff can play till he's 50. All he does is throw screens.
Very true. But Hutchinson going down does hurt, right? So you got to go make a move. And if you're an owner right now, if you are the owner of the Lions, you got to pony up some money because you saw it. You can't regress, right?
You're so close.
Yeah, your fans are when the fans saw you get that close, and then if you regress and don't invest, you're going to lose the fans again.
Yeah.
Well, you won't lose the fans. Fans are diehard in Detroit, but
yeah.
It is what it is. All right. What else?
I think we did it.
We did it. Sunday morning.
Yeah. I like the Sunday morning. A little change of action.
What do we get into now? So we got 15 minutes to set your lineup.
Yeah. Very important.
Make sure you put in 3 guys that are doubtful so I got a chance. No, it's going to be a lot of good 10 a.m. games today.
Yeah.
A lot of good 10 a.m. games, and you're leading the league. Do you want me to mention that, or is that a jinx?
I mean, it's fine. I'm like the Chiefs, right? My differential's not very good. We have a lot of football to be played left. And anything can happen in the playoffs.
We do. We do a lot of football, but we're in the middle of it. We're in the midst.
Yeah.
There's still a lot of things but this week is like, I feel like to your point, Jets, it's in baseball, when you get you stop at the All-Star break and kind of assess. You say, are we in it to win it? Are we going to hang around? Or are we just throwing, baby out with the bathwater type thing? Some NFL teams might be doing that this week. Carolina is one of them. We already know they're out of it, but there's those teams that are sitting there, and the Jets are probably one of them, right?
Yeah.
Do we keep Wilson? Do we get rid of him? Where do we go from here? Can you make up ground, right? So I think after this week, a lot of assessment of what players are available in the NFL.
Well, because Tua started practicing, he's coming back, and the Jets didn't really separate themselves from the Dolphins or anyone.
No.
In the AFC.
They got a lot to make up, and the Bills Josh Allen's there, but the Bills are going to be okay.
Well, if the Jets don't go on a run, I think Adams and Rodgers might go play for the Barcelona Dragons.
Okay. If you're grading I could see him doing that.
If I'm grading?
If you're grading the Devontae Adams acquisition.
Yeah.
Versus the Amari Cooper acquisition.
Yeah.
What grade do you give each?
Based on the acquisition of both players, I give them both an A. But like anything, I got to see what happens at the end of the year, because if the Jets are sub 500, I might lower that grade a little bit down to a C. Because I think the Bills are going to be in the playoffs, and the only thing they were missing was that number 1 receiver, which they have now. I don't think the Jets are going to get to the playoffs. They might prove me wrong.
Okay, next question. Would you rather have Stephon Diggs or Amari Cooper?
Amari Cooper, he's quiet. He's going to go with the game plan. Diggs is like, you've all played with people where they've got all this extra stuff in the locker room, And it's okay when you're winning, but like when you're going through some stuff, it's a distraction. I think Diggs is a distraction.
Well, Diggs' team is 5-1, so he must be doing something right.
He wanted to get out of Buffalo, right? H-Town, baby. You saw the way it changed James Harden's career.
Very true. Very true. All right. Let's get out of here. At Big Ben, KWin _ on Instagram, Twitter, Threads, X, Threads. What's the one they're banning? TikTok, yes, TikTok. Wherever you get your podcast, whether that's Podbean, whether that's Spotify, whether that's iHeartRadio, whether that's Apple iTunes, download, listen, subscribe, rate us, review, leave your comments, whatever you'd like to do, 5-star. And happy, what are we going to call this? Halfway
Happy
point?
Sunday?
Happy
Yeah.
halfway point in the college football and college NFL season.
Yeah.
Buckle up.
Buckle up.
And not just the waist belt. You got to put the whole thing over. It's going to be
like you're going to space.
But yeah, you're going on one of those roller coasters. You put this thing and then you got to just cinch the middle belt. We're off and running. Boom.
Boom.